Brewers Log June 29th, 2024. So today I managed to get 4 gallons of mead going. All 4 gallons are Concord grape mead. The difference is this first one over here is using Great Value Concord grape, or actually it's Great Value grape. Does it even say Concord on here? Yes, it says Concord grape down there. So, oh, it's half the price of the Welch's. So I decided I was going to try it and see how it comes out. But it also has a quarter of a cup of heather tips in it. The difference between this time or this and the last time I made these with heather, this time I steeped the heather in boiling grape juice to begin with. So I brought the grape juice to a boil, or to about 2 cups of grape juice to a boil. Well, and then put it into the jar with the heather and let it steep for at least 10 minutes. It was probably closer to an hour on all these that they were able to steep in the heather, and you could really smell the heather coming out of it, which is something I forgot to do last time. So these first 3 jugs here were all done that same way. Though the first jug is the Great Value, the second 2 jugs here are both of the Welch's grape juice. The third jug is going back to the old way that I used to make my Concord grape juice without the heather, because I'm going to try all of these side by side and see how that comes out. All 4 bottles have a full bottle of Fletcher's local Southeast honey. So it's all the exact same honey, and all the jugs that have heather, they all started out with a quarter cup of the heather out of this bag. The other difference between all of these is that the first 2 here are using Premier Blanc and Premier Cuvee, a Red Star yeast, and also I use that in the one without the heather because that's the way I've been making that for the past 6 or so years. Then I decided I was going to switch it up for this gallon, and it is using EC 1118. So I'm going to see how this one comes out and see if it handles any better. The other thing that came out strange when I started going through these is that when I started measuring the specific gravity of each of these, first one came out as a 1.134, I think is what I decided. So it was definitely near the halfway point above the 30 and 40 when it came down to that area. Actually, this may have been a 38. I'd have to go back and look or see if I can see it on here. One problem with Concord grape, really hard to see when I write on the bottles. It's easier to see when I get actually empty the bottles and I can read what was on there. So I think this may have been a 1138. This next one came out as just barely a 1130, maybe a 1132, I think is what I decided. So it didn't come out nearly as high, but that's the difference between Great Value and Welch's. There may be more sugar in the Great Value, but we'll have to wait and see how that comes out. Now, this was the surprise. So these 2 second jars here should be using the exact same Welch's grape juice. I had 3 bottles of this family size that were used in each of these. The first one came out as just barely a 1.3. This one came out as a 1.120, and this one came out just barely a 1.110. So there's quite a difference in the sugars in these 3, even though they were the same Welch's grape juice that I bought at the exact same time. So I'm not sure why those came out so much different, but we'll see from there. I'm going to see how the flavors differ using the different yeast. I'm going to see also how the flavors differ between using the 2 grape juice. If these come out fairly close to the same, I may switch to using some of the Great Value to at least try to tweak and figure out what I want. But tasting just the Welch's next to the Great Value, the Great Value had a more metallic taste to it that I didn't care for as much, but I found a few things that the way they taste to begin with doesn't always mean that they're going to have that's not going to be a bad thing in the end. So it's one of the reasons I decided I was going to try it and see what happened with it. So, but that was what I was able to get done today, and we'll see where I go from here. So this is the Concord grape Great Value juice, and right now, after putting 3 pounds of honey in and everything else, it looks like I'm running at least a 1.13, maybe 5. I'll have to pull it out and see exactly where that is, but it's definitely a 1.13 something. So this is the second jug of Welch's Concord grape juice and a quarter cup of heather. This one looks like it's coming out just below a 1.132 is what I would put it as, because there's a little bit of white, but not a whole lot. So this one I'm going to label as 1132. So I find this very interesting that right now I'm putting this one as a 1.122, just barely past the 20 mark on there, because these two jugs right here are both the Welch's Concord grape juice and 3 pounds of honey. So I wouldn't expect that much difference between them, but that's what I'm seeing right now, because that is definitely just about at the 2 mark and not down to the 3. So we'll see what the other. All right, so this is the last bottle of Welch's Concord grape that does not have any heather in it, is just the 3 pounds of sugar, or that's what I thought. It looks like this one is coming out closer to a 1.1415. So it's not even as high as the second one or the third one I did, and definitely not near as high as the first two. So I don't know why there's such a discrepancy, but that's what I'm finding.